Beyond the Bottom Line is an interesting project for the Minneapolis Foundation and for its partners. I have to say that there are 6 partners right now working on this project, and it has to do with trying to solve the state budget problem. There are 3 principles that we've really come to over this last couple of years. And those principles are having to make, number 1, having to make strategic choices, making sure that we know that we can't do everything. So what are the best choices we can make, and that will meet the needs now and in the future for the people of Minnesota. The second is a question and a principle around innovation. How do we spark innovation in the public sector, at the state level, at the county level, at the city level? How do we make sure that all of our employees are engaged and thinking about better ways to do something that is more cost effective? So, and then the third principle is the whole question of results. And again, we think that more value for the public dollar needs to be the guiding principle, and that we also have measurable results out of the public policies that get passed and out of the practices that public institutions use over time. And we think that there's lots of room to make sure that this happens. If all of the ideas that are in our Beyond the Bottom Line report got implemented correctly, we could save up to $20 billion. Now, when we're talking about this kind of redesign and rethinking public policy, it doesn't happen overnight. So what we're talking about is a significant portion of dollars can be saved through this work, and more importantly, we'll have concrete measurable results to show what happens with our tax dollars. It's really interesting because this is a very different project than other projects that we've worked on. The Minneapolis Foundation has been a really great partner with different community organizations and different groups in the community, different parts of the community. And so anytime that we know that our state is under pressure, doesn't have enough resources, we want to make sure that we can add to the thinking by a project like this. We also know that if the state doesn't solve this problem, there will be many communities that are going to suffer deeply, whether it's because there aren't enough dollars to educate our children, because there aren't enough dollars to make sure that we've got a decent health care system for people, if there aren't enough dollars or resources to make sure that homeless people have some options for stable housing. So it really is a partnership of 6 foundations that decided to put some new ideas that have been researched and tested in other parts of the country in a report form and given to policymakers, state legislators, county commissioners, and city administrators and mayors. And that's why we're involved in this effort, because we care deeply about Minneapolis and Minnesota. One of the things that I've been thinking about in my background, from my experience as the former Hennepin County Administrator, is that a lot of times there's layers and layers and layers of government. And so they're not coordinated. And I have to say that at the county level, when I first got to Hennepin, there were lots of silos that existed, especially around human services. And so families would have to traverse these really complicated, not very friendly systems, one system at a time, whether they needed food stamps, whether they needed housing, if they needed medical assistance, that kind of thing. And so really rethinking how we structure government services around people who use those government services, around the customer, is really something that I thought about as we started this project, and that Peter Hutchinson from the Bush Foundation also thought about with his public service background. So I would say that we're looking for better ways to use public dollars and also to get more value for the people who use them and for the citizens of Minnesota. One of the 16 ideas follows up on the comment that I made just a few minutes ago, and that is that there have been some very courageous county administrators and county commissioners that have decided that they're going to start looking at the whole idea of integrating human services. And they think that they can cut the costs, that not each one of those counties, and not all counties have to do it, and that they can actually come out with a strategy that will be more cost effective and give better service to the residents of their county by integrating human services and making sure that those counties that do certain things best perform those particular areas of work, and to serve counties in more of a regional kind of strategy. So the 6 partners in this effort are the Bush Foundation, the Blandin Foundation, the Northwest Area Foundation, the St. Paul Foundation, the Minnesota Community Foundation, and the Minneapolis Foundation.